Hi, everybody. Welcome to Creativity, Life, and Music. I am looking for a name, so if anyone has any ideas, let me know. Anyway, my name is Casey, and I'm a singer, bassist, and songwriter interviewing musicians and creators about creativity. And I'm so excited to welcome Natalie Hagwood, who is a cellist, vocalist,
Hi, everybody.
and songwriter.
Welcome to
Oh, little technical difficulties here as I'm trying to figure some of this stuff out. Anyway, Natalie Hagwood is a cellist. I'm going to start over. A cellist, vocalist, and songwriter. She got her bachelor's degree in cello performance at the University of Nevada, Reno, and won the University of Washington Concerto competition, soloing with the UW Symphony back in 2018. She currently lives in Sacramento, California. She plays with the Commons Quartet, a string quartet ensemble, and she is 1/3 of the folk trio Dear Darling. I'm in Dear Darling too, by the way. Dear Darling recently released a song called Way Deep Down, which was written by Natalie. It's so beautiful. Please go check it out. And Natalie is a versatile artist. She creates imaginative, playful, lush soundscapes. She composes gorgeous cello lines and dreams up moving and heartfelt melodies. If you need any bonus musical sprinkles for your music, definitely talk to Natalie. This is a long introduction. On a personal note, Natalie is the collaborator that I never knew I was searching for, and it has been a dream, absolute dream, to create with her, dream things up with her, and there's so much more to come in the years to come. Woo, that was long. Hi, Natalie. How are you?
Hi, Casey. So good. Feel honored to be here talking with you. I've loved the interviews you've been posting. I love all that you're doing, highlighting musicians, and this is going to be a blast.
Yeah. So, I've been bringing people on to talk about creativity, and I'm wondering what does your songwriting process look like right now?
Well, right now has been a really explorative phase for me. I would say right now I've been working at expanding and exploring different sounds, not necessarily working towards finished projects, but each day dabbling in experimentation as a way of trying to find my voice, trying to find what I like. So it's kind of, I feel like I'm a little kid playing on the playground and like trying out different things. Or yeah.
So it sounds like you are in an experimentation phase, and what advantages, or what's the reason for experimentation phase rather than moving towards final product? Could you talk about that?
Well, for one, it's just way too much fun. I think I do need accountability because Casey and I have talked about this. If we weren't held accountable, I mean, what's more fun than playing with sound every day? I mean, I could do that every day and never create a finished product. So that's probably the main reason. Is it's just so much fun. It's so freeing, and I'd still say it's a newer expression of myself as a musician in the last 2 years. January 2018 was the start of dabbling in sound and trying to songwrite. So it's been a little over 2 years. So I still feel like I'm in this incubator phase of exploring. And finding my voice. And I think, I feel okay about it right now. Eventually, I definitely need to work at finishing songs.
So Natalie is talking about, but not quite. We have a group that meets every day. So there are songwriting prompts, and so we create together, and I get to hear things that she creates. She gets to hear things that I create, and it becomes this, I don't know, melting pot of sound. And so, I pull some inspiration from things that she writes, and I'm sure that things that I write might influence her. And yeah, it's definitely experimentation. There are different songwriting prompts every day. So it's all about playing and creativity and getting things out. Would you say that's accurate, Natalie?
Oh my gosh, totally, totally. And I think it's also really forced me to work at things that I may feel uncomfortable with initially, these prompts that if they were given to me and no one else was there, I'd be like, nope, not doing that today. But with the accountability of others meeting, it really throws me into something new, something that I may not have done, which I love. I love that.
Yeah. I see Graham here on the Facebook Live, and he says fitted sheet. Natalie has written a theme song for folding your fitted sheet, which I am sincerely hoping that she will release so that we can all do a challenge where we fold our fitted sheets.
And that is exactly an example of something that I never would have thought I would enjoy to do. But every Wednesday, our group has a theme of writing theme songs for particular things. And this particular one was a theme song for a product. And there was a joke out of like, or no, it was a competition, like a Survivor competition.
Yes.
And then I was talking about my pet peeve of folding fitted sheets. So this one's a theme song to pump you up for fold your fitted sheet.
Natalie, you have a fan here, Christine, saying, yes, please. I would love to learn it, and it sounds fun.
Oh, yay. Okay. Yeah, I think what'll be fun about it is that the challenge will be to see if you can fold the sheet within the time span of the song.
Yes.
So we're gonna try it.
Yes. Okay. Let it all be known here. Email or Facebook message Natalie about the fitted sheet song so we can bring this to real life. I'm all about it. So Natalie and I are in a group called Dear Darling, and like I mentioned in the introduction, Natalie, we released a song called Way Deep Down, which you wrote, and I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about that song, how it came to life, working with Dear Darling, really anything related to the creative process of that song.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was a song that its roots are in lyrics and in my journal. Ever since coming out of school, it's been a really neat explorative phase, and also one that's definitely been difficult. And so the lyrics are very personal to me and my experience. And I think it is a song about finding your voice, finding the strength to speak with your own voice in amongst the many voices that can dominate. And while it started as a song inspired by my own experience, it's certainly something I feel very strongly about in my friends and family's lives and others, and things I saw. It's also a longing when I see someone with lots of potential and such a strong voice that's being held back by XYZ. It is a song of longing for someone to find their voice, to speak out what they believe in, to be able to make a difficult decision for their own well-being, even if it might shake things up a bit or rock the boat. It's that I think it's highlighting the period of time before you make those important decisions, that almost paralyzation of, I know I have this, but there's so many things in the way. I know I want to say this, but what?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Expressing your voice, and I'm hearing you talk about barriers, things that get in the way, and I'm wondering, what are some barriers that you faced as a creative person, and how have you overcome those?
mm. Well, one of the first lines, one of the first barriers you hear of in the song is you've got all the tools, but you don't know how to use them. That literally corresponds to Logic Pro. That's one of the tools that I had in the beginning of this songwriting journey, but I really was struggling to navigate it, and it became this crutch. Like, okay, and I finally, in the early stages too, I kept thinking like, I need the right equipment. I've got to get a good microphone. I got to get XYZ. But of course, as we know, you can always find that better microphone, that better equipment. It's endless. You can get up, and that really was paralyzing for me. Like, I mean, even if you just have a phone, you have a songwriting tool. You don't even need a microphone. So at that point, I had this snowball microphone that you might know about. It's made for like podcasts. Um, but I was really paralyzed by like, I don't think I have the right tools. And so that was a barrier. Another barrier is that I didn't have a community of those in the process. At that point, about 2 years ago, all I had was my songwriting, like the songwriting geniuses that I look up to, that I was like studying their songs, and it was the issue of being at A and only seeing Z, and not being able to close that gap, not being able to relate with anyone that's at D or F. So I was really, really stuck by judging every song seed that I had because it was a seed. It didn't look like a tree yet. Um, and I think that was also because I didn't know anybody else in that phase. And then I met Casey.
I can say the same thing. And then I met Natalie. Yeah, I'm hearing technology for sure. I now use Pro Tools, but I wanted to. I'm sure people tell me if you can relate to this. I wanted to pull my hair out when I was trying to learn Pro Tools because it was so complicated. And actually, I'm kind of at that stage with Logic, because you're saying Logic using audio DAW software and figuring out how to navigate that. I find myself trying to use Logic more these days, and I'm pretty frustrated because there are things that I can do in Pro Tools, but there are also different things I can do in Logic, but I'm not as flexible. And I love what you were saying about, if you have a phone, you have some way to capture your ideas. And I even want to stretch further and say, you don't need anything. You need yourself. All you need is yourself. You have a pencil, you have your voice, you have your body as an instrument, to create rhythms and sounds. I mean, this makes me think of Natalie this is how creative Natalie is. She has turned some text voice memo messages into music. So, and I saw Hannah is on here. Hi, Hannah. And, in the Dear Darling chat, text message chat, Natalie has turned something that we have said into a full-fledged song. I don't know. It's hard for me not to laugh because it is amazing and hilarious.
We'll have to share it sometime.
Yeah, next time we do this, we'll have to share that somehow. And I see June Steckler here. She said, way deep down, it's such an empathetic observation of what it means to be an ever-evolving human.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And Carlos is here. Hi, Carlos. Speak on it. We always already have what we need. Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious for those people who are here watching, what are some of the tools that you think you need to be able to start? And I guess I want to challenge you and ask you, if that wasn't in your way, kind of what Natalie and I were talking about. If Logic Pro wasn't in our way, what would we do? And this is a good question for me to think about.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm really glad you brought it back to that, Casey, that you really don't even need tools. That is the goal of that song is yeah, it's also recognizing too that we can have these songwriting heroes, but ultimately our job as songwriters is to reveal our specific experience. I think I was also paralyzed by that too, because I just, idolize these other voices so much that that can keep you from seeing your own voice.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes me think of really honoring what we as individuals have to say, and also comparing yourself or comparing myself to others and saying, oh, hey, one of my barriers is, oh, hey, I wish I was further along. I wish that I had XYZ. And that is not helpful at all.
Oh my gosh,
Really
so true.
helpful at all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's such a paralyzing force. And I think a huge kind of like mantra that I remind myself is we give what you got. Like give what you got. Like that's all you can do. And I think that's what helped me get out of the rut was releasing the final product. I think that's maybe why I'm in this very experimental phase is now it's exhilarating to think up little ideas every day. And because there was a time where I couldn't even do that because I was just judging every moment. And yeah.
Yeah, I hear you saying, okay, hi, inner critic. It's nice to have you here, but you're not helpful. So maybe go sit in the corner while I work on this experimentation piece. And then another thing you said is letting go of what the final product sounds like, which resonates with me. I mean, yeah, having some sort of idea of what you think it should sound like. And, when I say that out loud, that doesn't even make any sense, because what does the final thing sound like if you haven't created it?
It's crazy. It's so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I love about having a time frame. A time frame and the accountability to post something is great too, because so much of the time it's like you just have to battle out an idea to get to be one step ahead of the inner critic, because the inner critic will just slam you down and snuff out that flame. So it's like kind of like, okay, run with it. Even if you can't see it now, just run. And I think that's another thing that had to switch for me. I had the crazy idea that when you sit down to write, it's just like, oh, here we go, A, B, C, and your song starts stringing itself out. But it's actually very reckless. And looks much more like those scenes in like mystery films where they have like the pages and the string and it looks like total chaos on the wall. I think that's what and I know everyone's process is different, but that's definitely what I've realized my process looks like, much more so than here we go,
So what it looks like sounds like it's very different from the expectation of what creation or making a song, what you think it looks like. Is that what you're
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, I know we were talking about thoughts for budding songwriters or really music creators, either people who don't have any experience or people who are just starting. What what tips do you have for a budding songwriter?
Mm. Well, I think I'll go back to the first moments that I started even imagining, ooh, what if songwriting? And it was right when I stopped school, have a life crisis, and um, and honestly, it came down to what started it for me was the power of like noodling on one's instrument. I had not done that. It was just give me the sheet music. All right, I'm the vessel. Let's get to the end of this, And I had many years, and when you're young, and when I was young, I was really prone to doing that. And I loved this when I was really little. I would always at the end of my practicing, I'd be like, "Mom, tell me a song to play," and I'd like try to noodle out a song, but I like lost that in formal education. So then coming back to just experimenting with shapes on your instrument, giving yourself the freedom to try new things. It started on my instrument. It wasn't lyrics, it wasn't voice even at that time. So especially if this is like someone like a classical musician that's wanting to find their voice as a songwriter, I think finding the freedom through noodling, doodling on one's instrument is a starting place. Um, yeah, and then from there, it was journaling for me. I had kind of lost journaling as well, and journaling is so much of a source of lyrics. So sometimes things that don't normally feel like I'm sitting down to write a song, they can become that, and that's what it did for me by journaling. I didn't actually know this at the time, but I was laying the foundation for lyrics. And when that happened, you can go back and you can highlight things you like and then lift those specific things out and then imagine a song theme from those words. So those two things were really helpful tools that kind of started bringing me out of um, uh, there was finding others in the same place. Um, that was when I think I felt the most freedom and liberation. Um, because I think it was about a year and a half where I was kind of in this like bubble of um, paralyzation, and then I met Casey and Dear Darling, and um, for me, all of a sudden we had a deadline to bring these songs, um, and not only these deadlines, but a supportive community that I could talk to about the difficulties or the journey of songwriting, the highs and the lows.
Yeah, yes. Accountability. I need it as well. Yeah, and I'm also hearing you say, creating space for yourself to doodle, to journal. I mean, it's different for everybody, but creating the time, carving away, or I don't want to say carving away, I just mean opening up space for yourself to step into that role of allowing yourself to have the time, to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. June said, I remind myself that I have plenty of time in order to not get stuck and not starting creative work. Yes.
That is so huge.
Yeah. And LT is here. Hi. And he says, journaling. Great point. Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Natalie gifted me The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I don't know, 1/8 of the way through, but I know that one of her concepts is morning pages, right? You
Mm-hmm.
3 pages every morning, and it's about creating the space, getting comfortable with letting your inner critic go. It doesn't matter what you write about. You write so that when the ideas come that you possibly like, that you can, keep aspects of those. And you're already in the habit of doing that, right?
Mm-hmm. That's so huge. That writing without intention was crazy for me. And the noodling without intention, like not knowing the end goal from the start, I think is a mental switch you have to get comfy with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm wondering, we're touching a lot on barriers, things that get in the way of being a creative person, and maybe you've already expressed some of these things, but I'm wondering, what do you wish you would have known when you just started writing music?
Oh, that's such a good question. Maybe it was, I think if I had opened up and at least told one or two people of what I was aspiring towards, even just, I think getting some community would have completely sped up that paralyzation time period. So I think when you feel alone in something and can't see beyond that, you're just going to kind of stay in that space until someone kind of breaks it for you. So I would encourage anyone that's kind of feeling alone in their creative process to find a friend who may also be curious, and build in some accountability. With Casey and I, it actually started with an every Wednesday by midnight. This was our very first accountability group. This was when we first met each other. It was every Wednesday by midnight. We just would send something. It could be 10 seconds. It could be 30 seconds. Something that we were dreaming up, working on. And that was, at that point, that was even difficult for me, because sometimes it would be like 11 o'clock and I'd realize I didn't create anything this week. I'd sing into my phone and send it to her. And just that was big for me. I think too, a deep sense of patience is very, very necessary. One of my songwriting, what's the word? Heroes. One of my songwriting heroes is Becca Stevens, and she's someone that I tend to idolize to a point that is not healthy. But comparing myself to her, I realized was crazy when I read more about her story. So when she started songwriting when she was 9 years old, and I in one of her bios, she says that by the time she graduated high school, she had filled 50 books worth of lyrics and songs.
Wow.
And let me just be real about my story. So almost more than 2.5 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, I just started like dabbling and dreaming what if songwriting. And a month ago, 3 weeks ago, was the first time I've ever put out something I've written. So be less hard on yourself. Like it takes time. I think songwriting is extremely personal. It's something that's very interwoven with real life. It's not something you can compartmentalize as like, this is my music, this is my career, this is my, it's so interwoven with real life stuff, and being patient with that is really important.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So much yes. That's becoming possibly my slogan for for these conversations. And for anybody that's watching, I want to share with you that Natalie and I are facilitating a music writing experience on Saturday. It's a free workshop, and if you're interested in joining us, you can go to caseylipka.com/Natalie, because we're doing it together. And, if you would like to find more information about Natalie, what she's up to, hire her to write some music, put some cello on your track, or maybe even some cello lessons, you can find her at nataliehagwood.com, or let's see, she does have Instagram, and it's here, Natalie at natalie.hagwood. You can find my information here, all the information, caseylipka.com. And I'm also, there's all my information. Yeah. So, yeah, is there anything that you specifically want people to know about? Anything else? Any musings, ramblings, thoughts for the day about creativity?
Musings, ramblings. Maybe just that creativity, I think, doesn't look like anything you think it might be. Maybe just that sentiment of, I think I put creativity into a box, and the moment I do that is when I snuff the light out. So I think it's a practice that has to be practiced with open hands at all times.
Yes, practice with open hands. I'm thinking a lot about collaboration right now, because we collaborate so much, and Natalie and I have been working on this worksheet talking about different kinds of collaborators and what you're looking for in a collaboration. If you're a singer-songwriter who's really looking for people to help you out with your music, if you're, we haven't solidified all the names yet, but if maybe you're a sound buddy, I don't know if that name is going to stick, but a sound buddy who's looking for someone to collaborate 50-50, or, have it be that you're working closely with someone to create something. Or you might be the kind of collaborator that wants to contribute to someone else's project, and you say, oh, hey, I play guitar really well, and I want to contribute to somebody who's doing a cool project, but I might not want all the responsibility. And I think as we're talking, I'm reflecting on Dear Darling, because it's you, it's me, and Hannah Jane Cowell, who is not here at the moment. But, we have three different people that have different strengths and all contribute to the whole. And my personality type, I love that. I absolutely love having things dream up and magically become something entirely different than what I would do by myself. And that's what I absolutely love about collaboration.
Yeah, I'm curious for you, Casey. Like, when you started songwriting, what was helpful for you to overcome some of those barriers that we all face?
Yeah, that is a great question. Wow, I haven't reflected on this in a while. I suppose because I'm asking so many other people these questions.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, the reason I wrote and released my first song is because of accountability, like you were saying. I mean, I was definitely a person, and I still encounter this, that I'm like, oh, is this good enough to release? Like, have I thought about this enough? That's definitely one of my barriers, thinking about things too much. But the first song that I recorded and released officially was a song for a group that I was previously in called Cave Women, a band that I was previously in called Cave Women, and we were a group of 5 people and coming together in a collaborative sense as well. And so I contributed one of my songs to that. I remember being terrified. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm reflecting on that creativity doesn't always feel, you don't have to feel 100% confident to
Mhm.
release something. You don't have to feel 100% about it to step into your fear and do things. And I mean, it was through the act of doing that, having the deadline, working with other people who supported me, that challenged me to do that, step outside my comfort zone, put something out. And then I did that, and everything was all right. People seemed to like it. So that was it. And
Mm.
then I think it was through the act of doing it, like I said, stepping into discomfort and opening up your sphere of discomfort.
Yeah. Stepping into the unknown.
Yes.
Wow.
Stepping in,
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah. I think about stepping into the unknown, and the more you step into the unknown, this doesn't make sense. Maybe this makes sense. The more your unknown becomes your known, and then you have, you know, infinite amounts of unknown in front of you, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I see Paolo is here. Hi, Paolo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh.
Yeah. So again, Natalie and I are teaching facilitating a workshop, music writing workshop this weekend on Saturday. It's free. If you'd like to join us, please, all the information and registration information is on caseylipka.com/Natalie. And again, if you're interested in Natalie's music, what she's up to, you can go to nataliehagwood.com. And my website is caseylipka.com. It was already up, but I'll put it up there. Oh, and there's some other people. LT says, do you find writing stalls when you don't have a deadline?
Oh yeah. Totally. And I think different personality types will struggle with this more than other personality types. I'm totally one of the people that if I don't have accountability and deadlines, I will be in the stall zone.
The stall zone. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious. Yes, so real. The stall zone. What is your stall zone? I mean, I'm not saying you, I'm saying the people who are here. What is your stall zone? Yeah. I'm trying to think about that for myself. I would like to think of myself as a person that creates endlessly and completes a lot of things without deadlines, but I get things done because of deadlines. So I now try and put more deadlines in place for myself, more accountability, like you're talking about, Natalie. I mean, we have a lot of music writing accountability between the two of us, and in the band too. I mean, we have a weekly meeting, so that is a chance to say, okay, something is coming up. I am working towards this day, and I'm gonna have something done by this time. Yeah. And Chris says, hey, this is great. I'm not a songwriter, but it's great life advice. Give it what you got, do it. Yes. I don't know how to say your last name. Is it Chris Tiedemann? I guess.
Oh, hi, Chris. Yes, Tiedemann.
Tiedemann, yes. And Shirley is here. Hi, Shirley. Thanks for joining us. Anything else you want to share, Natalie, before we wrap up here?
I just want to thank you, Casey. Casey is someone that helped me get out of a creative rut. So I just want to encourage you, find the people you admire and ask them for accountability. Because yeah, Casey, you've been so helpful to me in unlocking pulling out those things way deep down. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Thanks for all that you're posting. And yeah, really appreciate this time with you.
Thank you, Natalie. I mean, the feeling is mutual. It goes both ways. It's so wonderful to be a collaborative partner with you, and there's so much joy and support in this thing called creativity with you. I mean specifically with you, because for me, having a partner like you is so special. I mean, you don't come across collaborators like this that often, and it's different for everybody. Seriously, I mean, when you find a collaborator that you work well with, keep them, people.
Yes, so true.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay, well, Natalie, thank you so much for joining me. For anyone who's still watching, next Wednesday at 12 p.m., I'm going to be talking to Omari Tao about his music, creativity, probably rogue music project that he is a part of, and I'm sure many other things. So if you have questions you would like me to ask Omari, you can drop them in the comments below, and I'll make sure to put them on the queue. And last thing here is Natalie and I are teaching a class we're facilitating an experience, a music writing experience on Saturday. If you're interested, go to caseylifka.com/Natalie. Natalie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Casey.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.